All right, guys, we're going to go through the exact funnel that I would use to scale an info offer to its first six-figure month in the next 30 days. This is the complete blueprint of our internal funnel that we use and that we actually install in 100% of our clients' businesses. So when we launched a new offer in June, it hit $150,000 in the first month. And I used one dumb, simple funnel to turn $27 buyers into $15,000 clients with absolutely no setters and no closers. Just myself and my co-founder took all of the calls. And we have a client who literally changed nothing about their business, nothing about the offer, didn't hire a closer, didn't hire a setter, just turned on the phone and within 2 weeks collected an extra $40,000 at a 10x ROAS. And now he's done over $130,000 in the first 5 weeks using the system. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what we did step by step so you can literally just copy the entire thing. Now, before we rip the funnel apart, you need to understand one thing, that is, if you're doing less than $100,000 a month, having a sales team is hurting your business because you're essentially creating a dependency in the business that will inevitably cost you more money, more time, and pain than just taking the calls yourself until you cross the threshold of where it mathematically makes sense for both you and the salesperson that you're going to have on your team. So, for example, if you are under $100,000 per month, it is highly likely that you have one system for acquiring traffic and a small sales team of 1 to 2 closers, maybe a couple setters. If your team is more than 5 people at this point of your business, you have a massive efficiency problem that you need to fix ASAP because that is way, way, way too many people to have on a team that only produces $100,000 a month. And you are also 100% dependent on those 3 to 5 people showing up every single day, or you literally do not make money. And even if they happen to show up every day and never take a day off, there's absolutely no way at this stage of business to make the math work. It's not even possible. So let's assume that your business is doing $50,000 a month and you pay commission only because your business can't afford base plus commission. And there's a reason why 90% of this industry pays commission only, and you are not a special princess. So stop trying to break the rules and charge or pay base salaries to people to get them to join your team. It does two things. One, de-incentivizes them so they can be freeloaders and make their 5K a month. And two, it just breaks your math. It does not make sense. So don't do it. So right here, I have a breakdown how we would typically structure commission inside of one of our businesses. So closers, we always pay 10%. Some people like to pay 8%, or maybe you have an extremely high ticket thing where you pay less than 10%, but pretty standard to pay 10% to any closers. So that would be about $5,000 in commission. Now, if you did have setters in this case, you're probably paying them about 4% commission. So industry average is going to be about 4%. In past offers that we've had where we've had setters, we've paid them anywhere from 6%, 8%, had very unique incentive structures in multiple different offers. But point being, it's always going to be around 4%. That's about $2,000 in commission. So if you think you are going to retain A player talent for $2,000 to $5,000 a month, you, my friend, are literally insane, because fundamentally, you are not going to find real A player sales reps until you can show with irrefutable proof that they can make at least $15,000 a month consistently. So instead of scaling, replacing yourself, and getting out of sales calls, like all of the replacement offers or the gurus are going to sell you, you will spend more time replacing team members that leave. You're going to constant cycle of recruit, hire, train, repeat. And commission only reps are way harder, like I said, to find, and will not join your company without a clear path to $15,000 to $30,000 a month. I promise you, they will not do it. You're never going to find good talent. You might get a young kid that's willing to grind it out, but you're not going to find sustainable A player talent. And in the end, you're going to end up taking the sales calls anyway. So I want to show you this. This is a client that came to us that was around $112,000 a month, claiming that they could not get their ads to be profitable to make enough money month to month to even pay their bills. So they thought, and what they hired us for and what they paid us for was to fix ads. Now, when we opened up their ad account, we found that they were running at a 4x return on ad spend. And unless your name is Jesus Christ, very few people are going to look at that ad account and say, wow, I can double your ROAS and make you more money. It's not possible. All these people in this industry that think that you're going to turn on ads and make 10x, 20x your money consistently and at scale do not understand paid advertising. It's not possible. So 4x ROAS is extremely healthy. And we asked to see their financials. And of course, here's the issue. They were paying 8 full-time salespeople $5,000 bases plus 10% commission. That means that they were spending roughly $28,000 on ads, about $40,000 on salaries, another $11,200 in commission, totaling about $79,200 roughly, before paying another estimated $15,000 to actually fulfill on their product. That means that they're leaving a whopping $18,000 left in the business to cover all the overhead, from softwares to just day-to-day tasks or other people and VAs, whatever it may be, and pay 3 co-founders. This is literal insanity. They're willingly wasting $50,000 a month to have a team of 8 people take 30 to 40 sales calls. Why? You have 3 partners. Each of you could take 10 calls a month and you'd be in the exact same position. It's 10 hours of your month. Makes no sense to me. Now, the point is systems scale and people don't. And your only focus right now is to build a scalable system that you can then later replace yourself in while leaving enough room to overcompensate A player talent. So now let's talk about the actual 3-part funnel that you can use tomorrow to actually create this system and actually become profitable without a sales team. First part of the funnel is a low ticket offer to actually qualify your buyers. And yes, I know everybody's talking about low ticket offers again, but it is for a good reason. And that is because low ticket offers are the single best way to scale to your first 100K month and keep crazy profit margins. They extract the most qualified people in your niche. They're usually the most solution ready audience because they're literally pulling out a credit card and paying you, and they pay for your ad spend. Now, here is the big issue, and that is that nobody, with the exception of a small group of people in this industry, have the first clue on how to build a sustainable low ticket offer that actually scales and provides the right result to make people pay you for your high ticket product. There's dozens of gurus that are selling low ticket offers and how to launch low ticket offers that are literally barely recouping 20% of their front end cash spent. And it's coaches, coaching coaches, and how to coach coaches, but just spin it off for low ticket funnels. It's the exact same thing that happened with the full industry. And they've never actually sold a low ticket product away from this, hey, start your low ticket product offer for long term and at scale. So I'll literally just give you the strategy that outperforms all of their garbage completely for free in this video. And to prove that this works, let me show you 2 examples. So the case that I showed you earlier where our client made $40,000 in the first 2 weeks, which technically was about $50,000 in the first 3 weeks. This is his ad account right here. So we spent about $4,000 right here, $3,953. And then on the front end, recouped $4,961. So we were already at a profit before he ever sold a high ticket product. Number 2 is one of our internal funnels. So we spent about $44,700 and some change and made back $56,100. So this is a 1.25x ROAS before ever moving somebody into a high ticket environment. So if you want this, and this is ultimately the best possible path for doing this and collecting your first 100K per month, hence the title of the video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to actually understand low ticket products. What you need to do is sell a tool that gets the most desirable outcome. This is usually going to cost between $7 and $97. But 99% of you watching this should sell your low ticket offer at $27 or below, because you don't have the budget at this point in the business that it takes to find the right audience to buy a $99 product as the first purchase. So just sell where the math works. Stop trying to fight it. Just do what works. What you need to do is think of a light version of the product or the result that you can actually provide. So for instance, if you sell content marketing, teach them how to actually get more views on their own. If you sell Facebook ads management, teach them how to build a better funnel and run ads on their own. Anything that you sell, teach them how to do it on their own. Because this is the thing, they're not going to do it. Trust me, you are an expert and they are not. And when they realize this, they're still going to pay you for your help. It's kind of like a sunk cost, but with some reciprocity. Hey, you went out of your way to show me all this stuff. I still don't know how to do it. You obviously know what you're doing. Let me pay you to do it. It happens every single time. And you only need less than 10% of your low ticket buyers to convert into high ticket to have a multi 6-figure per month business. It is that small of a percentage. So I'm going to give you a quick example here. So think of an impact wrench, right? So an impact wrench to help mechanic fix cars. They can complete the job without it, but it will be 10 times harder and 10 times more effort. Now, a mechanic, their only means of making more money is doing more work. The only limitation to doing more work is the time that it takes to do this work. So if we sell them the tool to compress the time, they can inevitably do more work and make more money. This is what you want your front-end product to feel like, a tool, an impact wrench. How can you compress time to get more results and ultimately make more money if you're in a money-based offer? Now, this works unilaterally if you're not in a money-based offer as well, and I'll break that down. Now, here's the thing. This has to solve the biggest problem that your customer faces. It has to solve it fast and be easy enough to complete on their own. So in other words, turnkey, and fall into one of these buckets, either money, status, or sex and relationships. Now, everyone's going to hit the comments and say, well, what about health? Everyone says, health, wealth, and relationships. The reason why we don't tap into health in this instance is it usually doesn't pull enough urgency. All right. So people view a health journey as a long process. Now, can you offer somebody something to where it'll fix something in the health? Absolutely. But the positioning is between money, status, sex, and relationships. These are the 3 things that I've found with any low ticket offer that will actually get you the most results. And the value return from the product must be at least 100 times the cost. So let's say you're selling it for $27. If you help people or businesses make more money, does the result of your product quickly and easily make them at least $2,700 in return? And if you were in fitness, so we use that as an example, is the alternative to your product equal to at least $2,700? So an example that we could use is basically going and getting a full-time gym membership or whatever, and a trainer. It's going to cost you a lot of money to have a full-time trainer. The product that you sell should be like a trainer in a box that you pay for $27. Now, it's not refined, and I'm not telling you to go sell that offer, but you understand where I'm coming from. Now, if you're sitting there saying, well, Landon, my offer doesn't apply to those categories, I'm sorry, but you are flat out wrong. I can literally position any offer you give me into these 3 categories. And to prove it, let's use gardening. I can turn a gardening offer in the money pocket into turn your backyard into a 10K per month side hustle where they would potentially grow vegetables, go to the farmer's market, sell those vegetables. Very easy. Status, how to create a magazine cover front yard in 30 days. This would appeal to women because women are in love with street appeal on their homes. And sex and relationships, create your own private backyard date spot in 1 weekend. Probably going to lean more towards the women's side of things, but you get where I'm coming from. And it's very obvious which of these is going to sell at a higher rate, but I'm using a micro niche to prove to you that this offer can be repositioned into these buckets. A low ticket offer should not be, hey, buy my super cool gadget or templates or random bullshit. And even if it is a template, how you position it matters more than the product itself. And unless you are at scale, meaning that you do more than $250,000 a month and you need to tap into new audiences to, express your marketing and hit new channels, or have massive budgets, do not run ads to a template. It will not sell and it will not be profitable. It probably will sell, but it's not going to sell near as much. And this is why all of these low ticket products are not selling right now. The exact same reason. So now that you have your low ticket product, how do we get these buyers to move into high ticket? If you're realizing you don't need more people and that you just need the right system, this is exactly what we build. Inside our Done For You Ascension system, we take what you already sell and turn it into a low ticket to high ticket system that pre-sells clients for you. No sales team, no chasing. Just click the link below to see how it works. It's the same system that my clients use to scale without ever hiring setters. Part number 2 of this funnel is an automated ascension that actually builds trust. So here's exactly what you're going to do to turn these into high ticket buyers. You need 2 things. You need a school community and you need a weekly training. That's it. That's the whole funnel. Literally everything you need is school and a weekly training. You don't need fancy email sequences. You don't need SMS bots, appointment setters. You don't need people to go through the full product and then book a call at the end of the product and have all these fancy things and call to actions. You don't need any of that. Now, obviously you want to include it because if somebody does go through it, it's another way for you to increase your book calls. But everything you need to clear 100K per month can be done from one low ticket product ran through a school community that has live trainings every single week. And school might be the biggest cheat code for info businesses since Facebook ads, because you can literally use their email reputation to send your emails when you go live or post something important, which means you have guaranteed inboxing. You don't have to worry about hitting spam, no matter how many emails you're sending. Now, obviously they have a limitation. You can only send 1 per 72 hours, but because we're only going live once a week, it doesn't really matter. You can run all of your trainings in platform. So all scheduling, notifications, and everything is taken care of for you. Like when you have something in the calendar in school, it actually sends a reminder email that it's going live. So it's another reminder that's being sent on your behalf. And you can run infinite marketing messages or make offers at no risk. Unlike email and SMS, where you always risk getting shut down or losing your deliverability, or A2P whacks you on your texts, you don't have to worry about that with school. You can keep sending, you can send 100 a day if you wanted to. And you can build trust by showing your face daily, which might be the most important part. This is the name of the game, is how do we build trust with people to get them to pay us higher ticket prices. School is basically what email lists were in 2015. And if you didn't have one, you were going to be broke. And I remember Russell always talking about that. You will go broke if you don't have an email list. You make X amount of dollars per send, whatever it was. This is the new version of that. School has become the new email list. You need to have one. So how are you going to actually execute and minimize your manual effort to 1 to 2 hours per week? First off is you're going to host your low ticket product in a school community in the free tier. So school just came, I don't know when this video is going to be posted, but school just came out with their tier system. So the only course that you have available in the classroom in your free tier should be the low ticket product that they purchase. You don't need an intro module. You don't need a welcome module. You don't need anything. We want to isolate their focus to the product that they purchase. The product itself is going to build trust. Remember, people don't care about you. They don't care about your case studies. They care about themselves. So give them what they want and only allow them to touch that product. Number 2, you're going to run a weekly private mastermind exclusive for the members of your community. So I like to run mine about midweek. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays work best for us. And I send invites 48 hours before going live, and then typically send another one just in the community the day before and the day of. This is an example here of one of my invites. to a mastermind. You can look at that if you want. And then number 3, you should have 3 to 6 topics revolving at all times. You'll be replenishing your audience weekly, but you don't want to exhaust your audience on the same training. So how are you going to establish topics for this call? You need to ask yourself, what are the 3 to 6 biggest problems that my high ticket product solves? When you find those 3 to 6 things, think through the primary objections or questions that your audience will have when it comes to solving these problems, and then answer those questions. This is what we call pre-selling your audience. Another little cheat code for doing this is, once you have the 3 to 6 problems, come up with topics to those problems, go to your Skool community and run a poll and say, hey, if I was to run a training next week on any of these 3 to 6 topics, which one would you guys want? They'll vote for it, pick the one that they vote for, run your training. It's that simple. Number 4, on the training, do not sell your product. Your job is to sell a one-on-one call with you. So unlike a webinar, where you're going to bullshit your way around for 2 hours selling strangers and trying to convince them to buy your stuff, these calls are far more structured and are meant to clear any doubts and build trust. AKA, you can actually do the shit that you say you can do. So the moment that a person who has already purchased from you establishes complete trust in you and your methods, they become a high ticket client. That is the waterfall you're trying to get to. You don't need to wow them with case studies and send them a bunch of social proof. You just have to demonstrate that you can actually do the job. So I'm going to run you through some quick math for a common funnel based on our internal stats. So this is going to mimic most of the average stats inside of the funnel that we run in our business. Every day, you're going to have about 15 to 20 new low ticket buyers that enter the community. And on average, over the first 4 weeks, about 40% of them are going to attend a call. From that call, about 30% of the room will book calls with you. This is going to be double what you're going to have on cold traffic. This is another benefit of running this model, is the conversion rate of webinar to call doubles. It is tremendously more efficient to run it this way. 92% of those calls are going to show based on our internal stats, and we close about 31% of all sales calls. So that means each month you're going to have roughly 490 new low ticket buyers. 196 actually attend a training. 59 of those will then book calls. 54 of them will show, and roughly 17 are going to buy a high ticket product. So you spend about $30,000 a month on ads. You make back $39,000 on your low ticket front end. So you're already $9K in the green for the month. And then you collect another $170 or roughly $170,000 in upfront cash, because not everyone is going to pay you in full. It's just not the case unless you have a really good financing partner. And if so, drop that in the comments because I want that. So they're going to buy that high ticket product, and then you're going to have another $85,000 entailing cash. So roughly $209,000, 6.96x cash ROAS on $30,000 in ad spend, and then 9.8x total ROAS on revenue. And we ran this model to $150,000 a month with absolutely no closers, and to this day run this model with no setters. So we have hired multiple closers now to actually take over the call part of this funnel, but it is once we surpassed the actual 6-figure per month mark. And here's the best part. We can spend infinitely on our ads because we recover all of it on day one, and we have a predictable schedule because we actually only book out calls for 48 hours from the training. So let's say Wednesday we do our live training. That means that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday only we're taking sales calls. So for our closers, their schedule consists of being very active Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Saturday through Tuesday, they're either just doing follow-ups, picking up scraps, and letting them go out and hunt deals that maybe got left or fallen through the cracks, or they're doing follow-up, whatever it is. So for our closers, they're way happier. They're still making the money that they need to make, but it's predictable. They know every single week that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is when they're on field, and then they can do whatever the hell they want for every other minute of the week. Now, let's talk about part 3, the application. Now, contrary to what the mega influencer folks online like to do, you should not be selling everyone. You can call me crazy, but I don't believe that grifting the last penny out of someone's pocket, that if I know it's not going to benefit them at this point in their life, is a great idea. And if your offer can truly get someone results who has absolutely no money, feel free. But typically your high ticket offer, your most premium offer, is not meant for people that have no money. And I do not understand why people continue to force this down the throat, and they're literally just dangling the keys for the FTC to come out and rip it away from them. So stop doing this. It is not the case for 99% of offers. That being said, you should be canceling 20 to 30% of all the calls that hit your calendar. And you have 5 to 8 hours of quality time in the day. So spend it talking to people who are actually fit for your services or products. Now, we could talk about downsells and options for DQs, but I'm going to save it for a later video, because that is not a priority until you need alternative cash avenues. The easiest way to keep your calendar efficient is by placing an application in front of the calendar that people are going to go to from the live trainings. So what should be on this application? You are primarily trying to uncover a few things: their ability to invest, their willingness to invest, and their experience in the field that you actually work. So your application should be about 5 to 8 questions max. And this is the basic flow that we use. You can literally copy this exact flow. We ask basic info like name, email, phone. We ask niche specific info like what their experience is with the specific topic. Are they already doing the specific thing or running ads for our case or using the funnel that we install? Or describe your business. So this is typically B2B. So I'll give you an example. Like our audience is coaches, it is school community owners, it's info people, course sellers, not necessarily agencies. We do work with them, but primarily those three. So we're going to ask, which of these are you in? And if they choose other, like a local business, we're going to DQ them. Even though they could be the most qualified person on the planet, I know out of my own integrity, I'm not going to get as good of a result for that person. And I don't want to have them spend their money with me. It doesn't make sense. I don't care. I'm not going to money whore my way around and try to extract as much cash as I possibly can. So number 3 is financials. You're going to ask current monthly revenue or income, goal revenue or income if it's a financial based offer. And then are you willing to invest at least X dollars to get Y outcome? Number 4 is pain points. So what is actually keeping you from getting this outcome and how long have you struggled with X? Now, number 4 isn't necessarily going to be something that we're going to cancel calls on, but this is a good indicator for our sales team to understand what pain points can I tap into? What do I need to drive home? How do I close this deal? So make sure to include that inside of your application. And once you have the application live, you have 2 options to keep your calendar filled with qualified leads. You can either cancel any appointments that do not qualify via the automation or redirect all DQs to a separate page after the application with no calendar. Now, me personally, I like to cancel the appointment and let the prospect know why it was canceled. If there's a mistake, they usually respond and we'll get them back on. So you'll have people that click the wrong button, or maybe they just misunderstood the question and they clicked the wrong thing. That's cool. We'll get them back on in the same spot. And typically it's a good intent marker too, because if they're responding, that means that they had a lot of drive or intent to actually purchase from us. Now, when you redirect DQs, they will inevitably just go back and change their answer and book the call anyways. And that's what we don't want. We don't want them just going back and doing it just to get on your calendar and waste your time. Now, later on, and we'll talk about this, like I said, in a later video, if you have a DQ offer, we just move that to a different calendar. But let's not talk about that in this video. Now, last thing here before we end the video, why are low ticket buyers the best way to actually create 100K per month in high ticket sales? And that is because making an investment of $5,000 to $15,000 takes an immense amount of trust. So to beat that lack of trust, what people typically do is overpromise to get the yes. They make unattainable guarantees. You end up getting waxed by refunds and you stay in this cycle of feast or famine where every dollar you make is then immediately recycled out of the business. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you're just in a constant loop where you're paying off your refunds. You don't want to do that. So low ticket products are a micro commitment that will eliminate all of the prospect's risk. So in other words, they're going to dive into this thing and see if this actually works, dip their toes in the pool before they dive in head first. And this allows you to manipulate that experience to actually build the trust. And people view a $10 to $50 product as a disposable investment. If it doesn't work, they don't come pounding on your door with a pitchfork begging for their refund. And even if they do refund, the charge is small enough that it doesn't affect your business. So you can just market a no questions asked refund policy, click a button and give them their refund. It doesn't hurt you. And it doesn't necessarily derail your business refunding someone $27. So both parties win. You cover your ad spend, they risk minimal investment, everybody's happy, and you have the opportunity to now ascend that person to a high ticket purchase. And these buyers are also 10 to 100 times more likely to actually buy again and upsell than a free lead. This is Rob. They just launched our funnel inside of their business. And he sent me this Slack message the other day after they started booking appointments. Justin, their closer, had taken 3 calls at this point. 2 out of 3 of them have closed. So to my point, these people will buy way more often than somebody who gave you an email, was searching out something for free. So this is why this makes more sense. This is why having a low ticket offer to drive the business over your first 6 figures per month is the most no-brainer thing you can possibly do. All right, so what's next? If you have built something great and you get insane results, but you are tired of managing unpredictability and chaos, this is your next step. We'll help you plug in the same copy and paste funnel so you can scale with a system and not with a sales team. So just click the link below in the description. I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works. You'll be on a one-on-one call. And once you see it, you're going to realize you never needed more setters. You didn't need to hire closers. You don't need better ads. And you certainly didn't need more content. You just needed a smarter system. So we'll see you there.